Hi, I'm DJ Scotty C, and today I'm here to interview Scott Castillo Jr., producer, director, and writer of Satan's Blade.
Hi, Scotty.
Hello. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So where did the idea for Satan's Blade come from?
Out of my warped imagination, I have a lot of stories that run around in there, but I really was just designing it so I could make it cheap enough so I could make a motion picture. So I thought about doing a horror movie, which is one of the cheapest and easiest pictures to do, not like a musical or something.
Okay. So can you talk about shooting the film in 1980, and then what happened between there and 1984 when it was released?
Well, yeah, we started filming in 1980, and after we got it mostly shot, you take it to different companies like Warner Brothers, Universal, etc., and they really just try to run you out of money because they don't want you producing cheap films. Produce it for less than $500,000. Warner Brothers said it would take $8 million to produce the same film back in 1980.
Wow.
And I said, great, I'll sell it to them for $2 million, and we'll all make money, Warner Brothers included. But that's not what they wanted to do. They want to wine you, dine you, and run you out of money, and steal your script if they can, and so on. So the big boys don't want independence, because if you start making movies and making it for cheaper and a higher profit, they will be out of business. So they'd rather we be out of business. So it took me 3 years going back and forth to eventually sell it. Once you get through to one of the big boys that, like Prism first was the first one to actually finally crack and give me a deal. Then the others will pick it up because it's already going to be out there.
Okay. So, can you tell us about the distribution of the film, the VHS, and the various releases of it?
Say that again?
So, can you tell us about the distribution of the film, the VHS release and the various releases that the film has had?
Well, that was mainly up to the distributors. Like Prism, I think, put out 15,000 copies initial run in the United States.
Okay.
And most all distributors that we get to, you'll sell it to them in Japan and Benelux and Spain and England and so on. But they'll give you like 20% upfront money, and then almost never will you get the backside money.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true. It's really weird. I mean, I don't think we got a single dollar of backside money from anybody, even from Prism,
Wow.
the big billion-dollar English company here in the United States. So it's a snake pit trying to get paid. So you usually kind of just barely limp along.
So, can you tell us a bit about the confusion between Satan's Blade and Satan's Blood and the artwork for them?
Sure. I had an agent out of New York that was arranging a lot of this, and like I say, it's kind of a snake pit out there, so you're not sure how shady your agents are. Not to accuse anybody directly, but absolutely everybody will, let's say, creatively finance along the way.
Okay.
We paid, I think, $5,000 or something for that one poster. The one in England, the one that looks like, I forget, like an alien head almost.
Okay.
Not the one that has the guy with the glint in his eye. And we thought I bought it for everywhere, but it was for England and Canada.
Okay.
And then I think my agent double sold it, but you never know. Or he just made a bad deal and we just bought it for England and Canada. But so somebody resold the same artwork for Satan's Blood, another movie coming out with the exact same number of letters as Satan's Blade, so it fit right into the artwork for them.
Oh, okay. So where did you find the actors who starred at Satan's Blade, and how was it working with them?
Um, I went through some very quick interviews. The first thing I did when I decided to make the motion picture was get a law firm.
Okay.
It's a business, not a art form. The second thing is I tried to get crew and actors, and I interviewed a bunch of them and quickly at a hotel and stuff. And so with any horror movie, part of the problem is the actors are usually not the best, and so you get what you pay for, kind of thing, and you're doing this on a budget and so on. I actually liked the actors I got. I typecast them a little bit because I knew the characters. I wrote the story.
Okay.
Some were better than others. That's always going to be the case, and I know some of them have panned the movie afterwards when really what they got was a good opportunity. But I don't think I'm going to pan them. I think it's obvious to the fans who the good actors are and who the ones aren't. I think all of them tried as hard as they could, and I also, remember, was a brand new director, so I tried as hard as I could, and I'm sure I could do a better job now than I did then, but I don't think I did a bad job either.
Okay.
You can see it has a slight a cult following. There's two actors I think I ought to mention, just because it's unusual. Janine, I believe, the Asian girl, is a really good actress. I had her audition for the kind of evil girl role, and she was really good at that and versatile at that, but I had her play the kind of good girl married to the high school football coach because she brought a subtle believability. And then the high school football coach is of some note because he wasn't supposed to be an actor. He was the guy who helped me co-write the screenplay. I wrote the original story. I just really, I wrote most all the one-liners and stuff and the things I wanted to get in to the picture because I knew the story. And I wanted somebody else to do the mundane work and, the conversations in between. Although I did some of the conversations like, where are my socks? And he'd say, upstairs. And he'd say, where upstairs? And she'd say, in the drawer. And he'd go, where in the drawer? That was between the football coach and his wife. Some of those to give it characterization. It's a typical tacky horror movie, so people are going, why do you need characterization? I like that, and I like continuity. There's no jumping half full, half not full milk glasses and so on. So we tried to do our best on that. But Tom Q played the high school coach, and he was the guy who helped co-write the screenplay with me. And we got a few suggestions from Jan Hedlund, who basically was the secretary and typed all of it up. But the reason she didn't get a little bit of writer's credit, and I didn't put my name on there, which has been on there more than enough times, because of low budget, you change hats all the time. But the reason our names weren't on the writing credit is Tom Q, after the fact, but before it was released, called me up and asked me if he could have all the writing credit. And I knew Tom, and he's not like that, so to speak. So I asked him why, and he had a chance to get in with the William Morris Agency, which is one of the best in the world, if he was the sole screenwriter on the movie. So I said, sure, and he did, and he ended up working for Carol Burnett's show.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to help him out if I could. He was a natural actor, though. He was really good at what he did, and he was a really nice guy. And like I say, a lot of the actors and actresses did a good job. Some better than others, but They really did.
Okay.
And for what I asked them, and we were up there for 33 days, and I was a slave driver, and I only gave them 1 day off, which was Easter.
Wow.
I'd often be working 2 or 3 days in a row myself without sleep. I mean, I saw my crew members twice kind of fall asleep, like the sound guy holding the boom, fell asleep, leaning against the wall, and just kind of slid down. So I knew it might be time to stop.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of how it was. Oh yeah, the guy who played the Dream Troll was actually the second, was the assistant cameraman, and he turned out to be a pretty natural actor too. So I hope that answers your question long-windedly. Go ahead.
So, can you tell us about the new restoration of the film from the 35mm print to now the new HD 2K version?
Well, I always kind of wanted to put it into DVD, but it was kind of on the back burner. I actually did other things for quite a number of years. I went into distribution for 5 years and into real estate and other things. And I've just recently gone back into making films again. So I have a film in post-production now for the first time. I got asked, almost pestered by Jesus Turan, who owns and runs a website that sells movies. Slashervideo.com, I believe.
Okay.
Blatant plug here. Also a site you might check out is fantasympegs.com. I did some short vignettes that I'll actually admit to directing, really low-budget, semi-professional, cut-to-the-chase type things. And I think you can also find a button on Slasher Video to get there.
Okay.
But in any case, Jesus was a big fan. He said his dad had a tape of it, and his dad and him had worn out the tape, and he contacted me for over a year before I finally consented to say, okay, sure, you can do the DVDs and Blu-ray. He's going to put it out on Blu-ray, which I thought was very flattering. I think that answers your question.
Yep.
Okay.
Just one more thing.
Uh-huh.
What about the knife?
Obviously, I'll have to tell you about the knife. When we were filming Satan's Blade, we had 2 of these handcrafted knives. And when we got to the last day, one of the knives disappeared up on the mountain.
Uh-oh.
Now, I'm assuming somebody may have taken it, and if they did, I would like it returned. But if not, I mean, it smacks of almost, fitting right into a horror movie plot that, one of the knives disappears up on the mountain, which it really actually did. So I'm not sure whether there'll be a sequel to Satan's Blade, like Satan's Blade 2, but you can find a fake Satan's Blade 2 trailer put out by Kyle on YouTube. And it wasn't a half bad job. But in any case, it may be Satan's Blade 2 sequel, since I'm now starting back to do movies. At least we're talking about it. And I actually did a trailer for Satan's Blade 2, but I'm not sure it's relevant now because it was 30 years ago and, well, 25 years ago, and I'm sure we wouldn't be doing it with the same actors and so on. And the same locations may not even be up there. We did shoot this up in Big Bear, California. But yes, the knife is still up there, I guess. And the sequel is still up in the air, I guess. Anyway, that was your last question. I enjoyed the interview.
Well, thank you. Well, there you have it. Scott Castillo Jr., producer, director, and writer of Satan's Blade, possible talk of a sequel, and The Knife may still be on the mountain to this day. I'm DJ Scotty C, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.